Welcome to NeverTheLess podcast with Bidemi Mark-Mordi, a show dedicated to organic leaders and leaderpreneurs. Today, you would learn how to discover your essence and live more powerfully.
Welcome to NeverTheLess, a show for organic leaders and leaderpreneurs. We've been talking about tension through the months, and in this final episode, we'll be looking at winning with tension. How do we win regardless of tension? And Pastor Bidemi will be doing justice to this shortly. My name is Victor Ogungbe, and of course, I'm not alone. We have
Ijoma Ubi.
And of course, I'm here as well. Welcome to the NeverTheLess show. Through this month, we've been talking about tension. And we said that tension is an announcement that a transition is in the offing, and therefore change is required. We looked at the quote, one of my quotes, that the human spirit is like the elastic band. The more you stretch, the greater your capacity. All of that to arrive at a place where we've said that tension is not a bad thing. Tension is the room or the gap between one totally explicable season and an understandable one. So even if we don't understand it from the beginning, we know that it makes room for us in the end. In the last episode, we looked at the fact that tension has do's and don'ts, and we focused on the don'ts of tension, while also reviewing some Bible characters to see how they did with their peculiar tension in their day. Today, we want to look at winning with tension, which was what we said we would do. And the first thing that I'd like to highlight is that winning with tension is a mindset. It begins with intention. You have to make up your mind that I am going to win with this. I'm not saying, the expression is not I will win this. The expression is I will win with this, which suggests that you know that you have decided to take that and use it to arrive, use it as something to pull yourself up to a level higher than the one you were at previously or the one you are at right now. So if you want to win with tension, begin with intention. Begin with a mindset that growth is possible through this. If I think of the Bible scripture to recommend for you in this time, I would recommend Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So if you have that mindset, honestly, half of the battle of whether you win or not with tension is fought. Because unless you have agreed with yourself and determined in yourself that you can win with it, you will not be able to win with it. Now that we have that out of the way, you have determined that you can win with this. The next thing is growth on the inside. Growth on the inside. Everything that you see manifest on the outside is a function of growing on the inside. What that just means is take that decision you've made, that intention that I will win with this, and up-level it to the fact that I must grow on the inside. Growth on the inside is how you take care of the fear. Growth on the inside is how you muster the courage. Growth on the inside is how you think through. Growth on the inside is how you embrace objectivity. Because nobody can win with tension without being objective. 80% of the time when tension is in the room, we always feel like people are attacking us. We always sense that there are antagonistic situations around us. But if we're not objective enough to recognize that the people are talking about the issues and not about us, sometimes we will not be able to win with tension. So it is growth on the inside that helps us to embrace objectivity. That feeling of they may be talking to me, but they are not talking about me. They may look like they are yelling in this moment, but they are not talking down at me. They are addressing passionately the things that they feel are not right in the situation that we found ourselves. So growth on the inside is important. Growth on the inside is how you choose to overlook a harsh word in the moment of tension and transition. Growth on the inside is how you choose to let go of the petty things and focus on the major things. So you must grow on the inside if you want to win with tension. Something else you must do is you must pay attention to the opportunities within tension. There is no tension that does not come with an opportunity. There is the opportunity of even just becoming a better person. So when you find yourself in a place of a press financially, and that press wants to make you become the person who is no longer willing to give to another, counter it with the spirit of generosity. Say to yourself, I will use the tension to grow in generosity. So you must look out for the opportunities. The opportunities within tension, I must say, do not always look like they are to your favor. But even when on the outside they do not favor you, they work something on the inside that further enhances your growth on the inside. So pay attention to the opportunities that you have. You know, sometimes out of tension, you wake up and you don't want to say hello to someone. But if you embrace the opportunity of, I don't like the expression, but it's one that I want to use, being the bigger person, you'll find yourself, after a while, those things, you'll find yourself that you are no longer someone who, because they're angry at someone, they won't talk to them.
I see.
Do you see it?
Yeah.
So pay attention to and embrace the opportunities within your pressure movements. Number 4, I think, because this is a stretch, we're not going to have a second part in this episode. Number 4, catch the vision of what can be. Catch the vision of what can be. Unless you can see what is possible, you will not be able to do the work to deploy your tension adequately or appropriately. So catch the vision of what can be. Catch the vision of what can be if you begin to be a bit more responsible with your finances. Catch the vision of what can happen if you decide that you are going to take on an additional job and you do it well. Catch the vision of whatever it is. If you can see it, you'll be able to do the work to get it. It's not about seeing it and getting it. If you see it, you'll be able to do the work to arrive at it. So catch the vision of what can be. Number 6, rejoice at the opportunity for growth. Rejoice, because again, it's a mind thing. So if you begin to rejoice, it's tension, but you flip it and say, this is my opportunity for growth. And you begin to rejoice in that opportunity. It will be easier for you to steward what is tension.
True.
Number 7, renew your mind. Think futuristic thoughts. Speak the language of your future. And think futuristically. Think about what happens when I finally, save this 12 million naira. What can I do with that lump sum of money? Relish in the joy that it gives you. And what you're going to find is that it becomes a motivation for you to ride your tension. Do you see it? So make sure you renew your mind. And in renewing your mind, think futuristically and speak the language of your future. Speak the language of your future. This morning I stumbled on something on, I think it was Facebook, and the person was giving tips on how to use affirmations. I'm not big on affirmations, but I like the point she made. She said, when you want to use affirmations, use them in the present tense. Do not use, affirmations in the future tense. So speak it like it is in your now. There is a language for your present. There is a language for your future. So you must speak the language of your future. Yes? Then rather than focus on the goal, focus on the process. If the goal is I want to buy a house, if you make that your goal, and then, which is a great goal, but if you make that your focus, you would only see how your money is not measuring up. But if you focus on the process, because you who didn't have 3 million saved, Now, because you have a goal for a house, has 30 million saved. I don't know about you, but just that process helps me because it tells me that I can continue to grow. If you focus on the process rather than on the goal itself, you'll find that you are not distracted and you're not discouraged. So when you want to ride your tension, focus on the goal and not the process. Number 7, pay the price. Pay the price. I don't think there's any episode we've had that we don't talk about the cost.
True.
Count the cost, pay the price, whatever. But make sure you pay the price, which also again goes back to the intentionality of it. Because in the place of intention, you must have counted the cost.
True.
Pay the price. If it means sleepless nights sometimes, that's what you get to do. If it means eating humble pie so that you can have meaningful conversations with your spouse, that's what you do. Pay the price. Then, of course, find your TST. Your tension support tribe. Find your tension support tribe. So let me give you a tip on how to find this tribe. There is nothing that unifies people more than commonality.
True.
So if you find other people in the place of tension, it is easy. You know, we have a program coming forth as we record this, and I decided to reach out to someone. I didn't even know half of her story, but I just felt, her story would dovetail with what we want to. In fact, by the time I was talking to her this morning, she's cooking with gas. What that means is the power she's going to bring to the program eventually. The only reason is because there's common ground. So when she asks me, what angle do you want me to come from? I just gave a bit of a summary based on her story. And she took it from there, and she's bringing so much more to the table than I thought I would have ever known existed. Do you understand it? So when you are trying to gather your TST or find your TST, that is your tension support tribe, look out for commonality. You know, you cannot be looking for a support tribe for teenage issues and you go and be talking to someone whose children are married. You don't have anything in common. All they can tell you is what they went through. And while that can be helpful, they can't feel your pain because in the moment they are not going through that pain. Do you see that? The other thing that you would do when you are trying to win with tension is balance between the care of others and the challenge for you to grow. A lot of us get so engrossed in wanting to grow that we do not recognize that one of the greatest growers of us is other people. When you embrace the challenge of caring for other people, you find that you grow in leaps and bounds, just doing them, dealing with their own issues. Number one, it takes you away from pity state.
True.
So you are not wallowing. And in the place of trying to help them resolve their things, you'll be amazed the ideas you get for resolving your own.
True.
So make sure that you take your focus away from yourself, me, myself, and I, and focus on helping others through their own tensions. Yes? I did say to us that tension is not a weakness.
True.
If tension is not a weakness, a flaw, or a threat, then what is it? To win with tension, you must see that tension is a strain or stretch that is meant to be deployed. See, if I'm not doing this every morning, I will never feel pain here, which is okay, right? But if I don't do it also, I will never grow abs. I'm not saying this is all that is done, but this is the one that I'm not even able to do consistently. Do you understand that? So, tension is a strain, yes. It is a stretch, yes. But if you deploy it well, it is useful. What that means, therefore, is that within tensions, we ought to set goals. Within tensions, we ought to set goals. You know, take them in bit sizes. Okay, so I will deal with the first. Okay, the goal is 240 million. Let me see if I can save the first 2.4.
As little as that is.
In fact, that 240. And with time, you find that it's the same muscle that you used to save 240, that you used to save 2.4, and you used to save 24 million.
Ultimately.
It just takes practice. So when you set the goals and you take them in bit size, ultimately practice, as they say, makes perfect. Even if it doesn't make perfect, it makes habit.
Yes.
Do you see it?
Very well.
So make sure that you set your goals and then make it a lifestyle. Make it a lifestyle. Embracing tension, make it a lifestyle. Let it be that you get to the point where people can actually say, not because you ask them to, but they can actually say that you eat tension for breakfast. So make it a lifestyle. And then finally, know what the end looks like and stay committed. Because again, if you don't know what the end looks like, if you're not committed, you will stray. When it becomes too hard, you will get up. If you guys would remember, we're supposed to have done this particular episode 2 days ago. But that day, I just didn't find it in me. I couldn't rise to the tension that day, so I couldn't get it done. But I went to bed that day thinking to myself, you have no choice. You have to do it before this week is over. Is it not done?
Yes, it is.
It's done. The truth is, all the conditions that I had 2 days ago that I didn't do it, I still have all those conditions. But I took those 2 days off to psych myself to say, this is what the end looks like. And because this is what the end looks like, you have to get it done, even if it's not convenient in the moment. The point in all of this is that tension is a blessing, if you see it well. Think about all the Bible characters you know. Tension is a blessing. Think about Joseph. Tension is a blessing. Think about David. Tension is a blessing. Think about Elisha. Just think about Jesus. Tension is a blessing. So it's not, we cannot continue to run from the things that have been configured to make us. And that's what this conversation is about. In case you don't understand it and you're saying, what is tension? Another word for it is pressure. Another cosmopolitan word for it is stress. All of these things take a stewarding. If you embrace them properly and you seek to understand it, you'll be able to use it well. I'm of the school of thought that there is nothing that God allows me to face that I cannot deploy and use to my advantage. And I'm saying that even when it comes to tension, you can use it to your advantage.
Wow. This is some very amazing stuff you've shared, man. I'm saying thank you on behalf of everybody who is watching. But just before we finally wrap up, I want you to maybe expand a little on how people can stay consistent, in how pressure is handled or tension is handled.
I think that for me, the way I stay consistent is to look at the end.
Okay.
For me, the end of all things is that God's name is glorified. And just because it's not a man, I have to steward it well. So determine what your end looks like, what the end will look like for you, and hold it up to yourself. And let it be what you are going towards. That God is glorified doesn't necessarily mean that I'll build the house. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'll buy the car. It doesn't necessarily mean that the other person will change. But it does mean that I'm going to give it my best, regardless. And that for me is the big thing. If you ask me to hold up something, is make sure you have the picture of the end before you, so that you can work with it well.
Okay. Thank you so much. Maija, do you have any questions?
Yes, I do have a question. You throughout the episodes, we've talked about stability point and how critical it is in dealing with tension. And you always go back to yours being, you have the 3 words, Jesus is Lord, and you have the, you talk about how at the end, you want God to be glorified. And so I'm thinking, does our values and our beliefs play a role
in how we do it? Yes, in your stability, absolutely. Because there's not one of us who doesn't have things that mess with our minds. Not one of us. Every one of us have things that mess with our minds. But if you have your anchor point, and your anchor point is solid, and you did not build it on man or things that are temporal, then the odds are you'll be able to deal with it. But your anchor point determines your beliefs, it determines your values. At least for me, that's what it is. So that's why it plays a role in that regard.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's really great. I've picked up so much. I've learned a lot.
So let me ask the questions now. What have you learned? One thing, two things.
So for this particular episode, I'm going to say the first point that you mentioned, the mindset, and the fact that when thinking about tension, I'm not saying it as I'm going to win this. It is I'm going to win with this. So I'm not fighting tension. I'm utilizing it to bring up whatever it is. The potential you mentioned is already deposited on the inside of me. And knowing that tension never goes away, that is really, really great to get me to get me on the okay. So this is the first step. If I'm able to get this, align it with my my values and my beliefs, it points me in the right direction.
Yes.
I mean, for me, I see the importance of tribe in this journey. What I just said is actually, it does stand out for me that I'm going to win with this.
Yes.
But the tribe thing stands out for me in an amazing way, because it tells me that I need to be discerning much more.
Yes.
To be able to see, okay, who are the people who are also at this phase?
Yes.
Who we can probably pray to.
Yes.
Just share sometimes.
Exactly.
For me, that stands out.
Yes, that is very key. A lot of us are not very strategic when we pick our tribe. And it's not because others are bad.
True.
It's just that as regards the tension that you face, who is the person who can most identify with that tension? That's the kind of person you want in that tribe. Because if they pray, they will pray with all of their heart.
True.
If they want to stand with you, they will stand with you, because they know that if the shoe is on the other foot, they want you exactly where you want them in that moment. So that's important, yes.
This is amazing. Pastor B, I know that you want to tie all four together, since this is the final episode.
In all of these episodes, here's what we've talked about. We've talked about the fact that tension is the gap between who you are and who you can be. So it is an indicative of the fact that you can grow more. That's why tension is applied. If you cannot grow, tension will not be applied. But as long as there's room for growth, tension will be applied. Do you understand it? We have also said that to deal with tension well, we need the human spirit. We need the capacity to bend over, the elasticity. And we also need to recognize that stretching is something that has come to stay for us. Yes? We talked about the don'ts of tension. Do not get into tension modes or tension moments and begin to go crazy. So which also brings us back to the fact that you must have a stability. There must be something or someone you are anchored on that helps you, that you know that no matter how far flung you are, it can bring you back. So you need that. And then we looked at the fact that we cannot be reckless in tension, and we cannot be overly careful in tension as well. So, you have to, again, strike the balance. And obviously, all the things that we need to do as we're in the place of tension. For me, the best one or two would be intentionality. And then the final one, which says, hold a picture ahead of you. So if you want to lose weight, hold a picture ahead of you. If you want to build a house, as a point of architectural drawings. If you want to save money, it's all of those things. You have a picture and you focus on the process rather than on getting there, on how long it's going to take you to get there. You will make it. That's just it.
Wow. An amazing time out with Pastor Bidemi. Pastor Bidemi, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For having us.
Yes.
Smiling woman. My name is still Victor Ogungbe. Thank you so much for staying and listening through on this episode. Please do well to look out for the other ones that will come after this.
And please share and share and share, and follow me on social media. Who knows what else will be coming? So please share and share and share.
There are many more from where this came from.
Okay, that's
a whole lot more. Thank you, Ma, for having me.
Yes, and remember that when you embrace your superpower, you live above and beyond even tension. So till next month, when we'll come to you again with another subject, may God bless you and may He be kind to you.
Amen.
Have a good rest of your month. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Nevertheless. For more information and resources, call 080-90563-555 or send an email to bidemi@bidemimark.com. Don't forget, discovering your purpose helps you live more powerfully.